Art Washuta is this year's recipient of the Lieutenant Governor's Award for Distinguished Achievement.
My parents were Polish immigrants and moved here shortly after the Second World War. They were glad to be in Canada because they had a fresh start in a free country. They wanted a better life for the kids. They pretty much drilled into us the need to get a university education. I attended the University of Alberta, where I graduated with a degree in civil engineering in 1973. I've practiced engineering for 45 years now, and all but 1 year of that was in the consulting engineering business, which I'm quite proud of.
Gee, I've known Art since he first joined UMA in 1977. He joined as a junior engineer and worked initially on the Dixon Dam. The challenge for the design team was creating a hold-down system that prevented the stilling basin from floating and being damaged. And the team came up with several hundred DWDAG post-tension anchors. They went about 50 meters into the ground to hold the concrete in place should this very large flood ever occur. It was a very unique and successful way to solve the problem. The Dixon Dam was conceived to provide guaranteed downstream flows in the Red Deer River to support what has become Alberta's petrochemical industry. At the time was one of the largest concrete structures ever built in Alberta. We were also awarded the Old Man River Dam, which was then and still is today the largest dam built in Alberta. Art, because of his splendid work on the Dixon Dam, was now appointed the design manager for the spillway.
It's actually the largest spillway in Alberta. It required 145,000 cubic meters of concrete.
It's got capacity for about 7,000 cubic meters per second, so almost 3 times the Dixon. Importantly, the Old Man Dam won an Award of Excellence in 1997. I attribute this success of these 2 spillways in large part to Art Washuta and the quality of engineering he brought to these projects.
Art and I have worked on a lot of projects together. Most notable for me are projects we worked together in Arctic Canada. Short-range radar project where we developed and installed new equipment to replace the distant early warning sites in the Arctic.
The short-range radar facilities were part of the North American Air Defense Modernization Program from the mid-80s. And the purpose was to detect intrusions into Canadian airspace by Russian aircraft. We also designed the F-18 aircraft airbase in Inuvik.
We also worked on the cleanup of 21 dew line sites in the Arctic.
So that project went on from 1992 to 2014, so it was a 22-year-long relationship with the client. So I'm quite proud of that one for sure.
Working together with Art, I learned a lot, we learned a lot, and it was a great experience.
More recently, he's been involved with the LRT extensions over the last couple of decades. Art's a real strategist. There was the LRT extensions coming in Edmonton, and Art formed a formidable team.
We worked on many extensions to the LRT. The first one running from Corona Station to University all the way down to Century Park, and also the NAIT extension. Then we also worked on the Valley Line LRT, which runs from southeast Edmonton, 27 kilometers to the west.
It's a $1.8 billion design, build, finance, operate, and maintain. A huge project. In fact, it's the largest infrastructure project ever taken on by the City of Edmonton.
The one that we enjoyed the most was the tunnel from University Station up to Health Sciences Station. It was very complex. We were tunneling through sand and gravel. We had to go underneath a parkade and a historical building, so it was very challenging.
We used our entire toolbox to bring success to that project. Like, so many things could have gone wrong, but we had the best people available. And at the end of the day, it worked out really well because of the people and the processes that we had in place.
Providing a successful LRT project, of course, means that the citizens of Edmonton get another transportation system to use.
You look around at the incredible infrastructure that surrounds us. It's great to be part of what Ken Pillop likes to say is the unseen hand that makes the world a better and a safer place.
He can dive down into the details, but he also sees the value of people outside of the engineering profession and how they can make a project better.
We always had partnering events. We had people that were very diverse. It wasn't just within the company that we worked for, so it wasn't just with AECOM. We were multifaceted with people from all kinds of disciplines, from different countries, different parts of the world, coming together to work on this massive project.
Partnering is a way of taking the two teams or all the team members together and ensuring that we all understand each other's roles and responsibilities. These are very large multidiscipline projects that required a lot of oversight to manage, and he made sure that we were always talking the same language and working together.
Art always wants to do things better, whether it's better proposals, better client relationships, better solutions to projects, better ways to deliver projects. He's always striving for that, and he's always supporting the people who have that in mind.
Art served in committee, liaison, and leadership roles with numerous industry associations.
He is not an engineer's engineer, he is a people engineer. And again, it's that interest in the individual and not just the project that I think makes him special.
Art reported into me in his role as President of Canada. Art was fantastic to work with. I mean, with me being based here in New Zealand, I had to put a lot of trust into the leadership in Canada, and Art fulfilled that role superbly. There's actually a proverb in Maori here in New Zealand, and that is, what is the most important thing in the world? He tangata, he tangata, he tangata. It is the people, it is the people, it is the people. And this is something that I know struck a chord with Art every time that he was down here, because I know that he felt so passionate about it.
One of the biggest things is his ability to mentor people. It would be like he saw this rough stone, and then he'd help to develop them, and eventually, out at the other end popped a gem. So we saw a lot of gems pop out in his time working with him, and people who maybe wouldn't have thought of themselves in that ability to do those things suddenly found themselves doing them and excelling at it. He gave me opportunities that I probably wouldn't have had elsewhere, and that's changed who I am and who I've become, and I'm thankful for that. A lot of us who have had the opportunity to work with him would call him the Jedi Mind Master. He can lead a team of people, whether it be an executive level or on a project. If things are going a little sideways, he can mind master you to go right back to where you should be, and bring that team right again.
I guess if I was describing him to somebody, I'd say, do you see that big guy over there? You want to get to know him. He'll take you to a lot of places and have you do a lot of things that'll challenge you and excite you.
Working with Art is like having your favorite uncle help you with your project. Respectful, diligent, competent, and friendly are all words I would use to describe his approach.
He displays a powerful mix of humility and determination. He's very ambitious, but he's ambitious to succeed as a firm and for his staff, not for himself.
He's got a very keen intellect and a sharp sense of humor. And on occasions, I call it a wicked sense of humor. Art would always come up with a unique way to celebrate, and it would always be something that Art created himself. It usually involved concrete, or steel sometimes, but usually concrete. What Art presented me was a new squash racket. The head of the racket is filled with concrete grout. The racket now weighs about 5 pounds. I can hardly lift it, never mind swing it.
To be successful, you can't do it alone. You have to surround yourself with the best people that you can find. And I've been privileged to work with very talented people, diverse teams, as well as some great clients.
It was obvious that he was going to become a leader because he accepted the challenge of heading the design team on the Old Man River Dam. As a young engineer, that was evidence that he had the leadership qualities that would see him well into his future years. And obviously that has transpired.
Hey Art, congratulations on this award. From all of us here in New Zealand to you up in Canada, one message for you. He tangata, he tangata, he tangata.